Hello, IML students. Today, you are going to learn about what are pips and how do you calculate them. Before we get started, here's a little bit about myself. My name is Adeze Duncan, representing iMarkets Live. Some of you may know me from Forex 101 on IML TV. Also, I was an educator for 10 years, and now I'm here educating you on the facts and methods of Forex. In order to get started on this journey, you need to remember one thing and one thing only. I am a student, always. This is very important for you to remember and to remind yourself of often. You will hear me use this phrase frequently as a reminder that you are a student that is learning a skill that will pay you for the rest of your life. Make sure that you take your time and learn what you need to learn. Pace yourself. Do not compare yourself to anyone else's progress. Always keep a winning mind frame and you will do very well in this industry. Upon finishing this video, you should have a very good understanding of the following questions. Read through them quietly to yourself. As you are taking notes, make sure to pause this video in order to answer these questions. Here is some important vocabulary that you may want to pause the video in order to write down. When you are finished, go ahead and resume. So what is a pip? A pip is nothing more than a unit of measurement that expresses the change in the value of the market. In other words, in the same way that you express time in minutes or in days or in hours, we're expressing the change in the market in pips. If it goes up, it went up a certain amount of pips. If it goes down a certain number of pips. It is nothing more than the fourth decimal number after the comma. You see in this picture here, the 13021. And by the way, that's not supposed to be a comma. It's actually a period. So that's really 1.3021. The 1 is the pip position. Now you know what a pip is. How do you actually calculate them? Remember, the pip is the fourth digit. So here's an example. Here's a scenario. You enter NZD/USD at 4.565667 and exit at 4.567772. How many pips did you gain or lose? And first of all, pay attention. Notice which numbers are the pips position. Okay? Make sure you pay attention to that, because what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to subtract these numbers, but you have to know which one is the pip, which one is the one that has your focus. Now you know what a pip is. How do you actually calculate them? Remember, the pip is the fourth digit. So here's an example. Here's a scenario. You enter NZD/USD at 4.565667 and exit at 4.567772. How many pips did you gain or lose? And first of all, pay attention. Notice which numbers are the pips position. Okay? Make sure you pay attention to that, because what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to subtract these numbers, but you have to know which one is the pip, which one is the one that has your focus. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take the 4.56772 and subtract it from 4.56567. And you're going to get, it's going to equal 0.00205. Now let me just stop and pause you. You know what? Some people can get all up in frenzy about which one do you take first to subtract. If you want, go with the bigger number. If you end up with a negative number, who cares? Ignore the negative. So really, you can just punch these in any direction. The most important part is that you get that answer equals 0.00205. Now, one way that you can find out how many pips was in this situation is you take them, subtract them, and then you can divide by 0.0001. Is going to equal 20.5 pips. Why did you want to divide by 0.0001? Because remember, the pip is the fourth decimal place after, the fourth digit after the decimal place. So if you divide by that decimal, you're going to get 20.5. Now, if dividing numbers gives you the EBGBs, there's a whole other way that you can solve this. There's an alternative way. And this is the way that I personally like to use, because I don't like dividing numbers either. I'm not a dividing type of person. If you move the decimal over 4 places to the right, remember, the reason why we're moving it 4 places to the right is because the pip is the fourth digit to the right of the decimal. So if you take that point where it says equals 0.00205 and you slide that thing over 4 places, you will get the same answer. So here's what it looks like in, written out for you, for those of you who are visual people. See how I took the decimal and I slid it 1, 2, 3, 4 equals 20.5 pips. Super easy, super easy. We're going to do another example, don't worry. Before I go ahead and do another example, I did have to mention the pipette. Some brokers offer prices that are up to 5 decimal figures after the comma, and it's much more accurate, so they say. Really what I say is it really just gets in your way, makes you mad, and you thought that you were calculating pips, but you really got confused with the 5th digit. So know that that number is the pipette. So in this picture, you see 1.3020, that 1 is the pipette. Let me tell you now, ignore that number. When you're calculating, don't even add it to your calculator. Or if you do, act like it's that invisible friend that you had. Or act like, I don't know how many of you guys had siblings. I had siblings. What I would do is I would pretend they were invisible. It used to make me really mad. I know I'm not the only one who did that. But that's what you do with the pipette. Act like it doesn't exist. The one that you care about is the 4th decimal place. So now here's our second example. You enter New Zealand dollar at 1.09892 and exit at 1.16971. How many pips? So right now, you should have your calculator out. You can pause the video. You should be subtracting these numbers to find out what that decimal answer is. All right, now after doing that calculation, you should have entered the 1.09892 minus the 1.16971, and you should have gotten 0.07079. All right? Now, notice that these are color correlated. The colors are correlating to different things. The blue color is correlating to the pip, and the 1 is the pipette. And remember, what are we supposed to do with the pipette? Ignore it. So after finding out what the actual decimal number is, this method is for people who like dividing. If you're the dividing type, then what you want to do is you want to take that 0.07079 and you want to divide it by 0.0001. All right? The reason why we're dividing it by 0.0001 is because, remember, the 4th digit from the decimal is the pip. That is why we're dividing that by 0.001. So when you take 0.07079 divided by 0.0001, you should get 707.9 pips. All right? That's for you guys that like to divide stuff. That's not usually my style. And now for my favorite style, like I said, I'm not down with that whole dividing thing. I'm kind of more a decimal sliding type of girl. What you do is after you subtract those numbers and you get the decimal number, all you got to do is just move the decimal place over to your right. 4 places over to your right. It's just that simple. Here is an example. So take 0.07079 and then you just slide the decimal place over 4 times. See that? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you get 707.9. Isn't that so much easier? I mean, I like it. Anyhow, why do I like it so much? Because I can now just mentally do the decimal sliding without having to bring out the calculator and all that. So when I look at my phone, I can easily just mentally slide decimals over. But for those of you who like to, bust out the calculator and do some division, gets your juices going in the morning, now you have 2 ways of doing it. You can either do the calculator version or you can do the mental decimal slide over version. All right, either one's up to you, and they work both very well. Now let's actually put it in action, because most of us aren't going to be looking at numbers like this. We're going to be looking at the chart. Why am I having you calculate pips like this? Because when you start analyzing charts, you're going to want to start calculating where's your take profit going to be, where's your stop loss going to be. Now, of course, there are fancy tools like on MetaTrader 4 or TradingView, but to get you started, this is how it works. So let's say you enter, and I already have the entry price at 1.09207, and you exit at where the blue is at 1.08962. What do? You get it. You are going to subtract those numbers. It's going to equal 0.00245. You can slide the decimal over 4 places to the right, and then you end up with 24.5 pips. Hopefully, this is getting more simple. If not, please replay this video. There are some exceptions to the rules, such as yin pairs and gold pairs. In yin and gold pairs, the second decimal figures after the pip is, after the comma is the pip. So, for instance, look down here. It says, if USD JPY rose from 103.25 to 103.26, that deviation was 1 pip. Notice there's not 4 decimal places. There's not 4 digits after decimal. This only applies to yin and gold pairs. Here's a really awesome picture that you can snapshot for your notes. Take a screenshot of it, take a picture of it, write it down until you get it. Notice how on one side you see 1.25418 and it shows you the pipette. And then on the right, remember what I told you to do with those pipettes? We ignore them. So you don't see an 8. You don't see a 3. Okay? So the top one is for pretty much every other pair. The bottom number, the 1.273, represents yin and gold pairs. So why not? Let's just calculate what it's like. So you enter ABCXYZ at 95.343. I didn't realize all this right. And exit at 95.445. How many pips did you gain or lose? So hopefully you kind of understand the gist of it. You take 95.343 minus 95.445 equals 0.102. Now, notice how you divided by 0.01. Why did you do that? You did it because there are 2 placeholders after the decimal. Remember, on yin and gold pairs, the pip is the second digit after the decimal. So that's why you would divide by 0.01. That's one way of doing it. Now, the other way of doing it, you already know, is slide the decimal place 2 spaces to the right. Remember, 2 places because the pip is the second digit to the right of the decimal in yin and gold pairs. Okay, so now you have a yin pair right here, and you can see that, remember, this one's a little bit different because you have 2 decimal places. What you're going to do is you enter that 111.443 and you exit it at 111.909, and you should have gotten 0.466. See, after sliding the decimal places 2 places to the right, you should have ended up with 46.6 pips. Is it now starting to make more sense to you? All right, now I want you to try. Practice. How many pips did you get? If you entered, notice at the bottom, your entry is at the bottom at 144.549, and you exit at 136.06. How much did you gain? And here's another question. Was this a buy or a sell? Well, why would you get in for this? Would you get in for a buy or would you be getting in for a sell? So 2 questions. How many pips? And would you be getting in for a buy or sell? All right. So hopefully you've done the math. If you did the math, you should have got something like this, 8.489 in your calculator. So now if you slide the decimal over 2 places, that's 848.9 pips. And by the way, this would have been a very good buy order. You wouldn't have gotten something like this unless you were doing like a long-term order. By now, you should have a good understanding of the following questions. Read them quietly to yourself, and when you are finished, go on to the next video in this series. Thank you so much. My name is Adaise Duncan, and remember, I am a student always.